Hello everyone, welcome to Kalam IS Academy. Today in this session we'll be discussing various aspects of GS answer writing. We'll discuss the basics of answer writing and the nitty-gritties, wherein you can add value to your answers and improve your answer writing skills. So I'll start with it. Coming to GS2. So few things are common from GS1, and apart from that I'll cover more things. So first thing is, read all the questions as I have already mentioned in first 5 minutes and mark those which you have little idea. This is one of the strategy. Second strategy is just read first 2 questions, jot down points for them and start writing. Whatever is comfortable with you, you can do that. One important difference is writing the questions, the order in which you are going to write the question. So I used to write question number 9, 10, 19, 20 first, and then I used to start from question number 1. Because 9, 10, 19, 20 is fixed, question will be from IR part. So you can prepare, if you prepare IR nicely, you can just go and write these questions first, because if you come in a sequence wise, question number 19 and 20 you will be writing at the end, and that way you will have very less time to write a good answer for that. So I used to write these questions first and then go from question 1, 2, 3. Another approach for writing question is first writing question number 1 to 5, then question number 11 to 20, and then question number 6 to 10. Because here is the first impression, here is the part which fetches you most marks, and then this is again average part. So that way, if you are writing these questions in the end, you won't lose too much. But again, it is up to your comfort level, whatever is comfortable for you, or you can just simply start from question 1 and end on question 20. So at the end you have to write all 20 questions, but it is relative priority that you have to give to each question. So this was the paper attempting part. Now coming to the topics part. So we have 4 topics here. Polity, 100 marks, which is the largest part, then governance, then IR, and then social justice. So almost rest part is fixed. Polity is 100, then governance, and all 3 topics are 50, 50, 50 marks. So coming to polity, what all you should keep in mind when you are writing the answers of polity? You have to compulsorily mention the articles related, judgments of Honorable Supreme Court and High Courts, committees involved, and the schedule or the part of the Constitution. Schedule 6, Schedule 5, or which part 11, part 3, part 4 of the Constitution. So these are the few things that must be there in the polity answers, and that will make your answer more attractive, more solid, and more reasonable. For example, suppose the question is on a president or governor or speaker. So you should mention the article number, say 62 or 161 related to president or governor, talks about the speaker and the power vested with the speaker or the governor. So that way you should introduce your answer. Then coming to judgments. So there are a lot of judgments of Supreme Court related to president or governor. So for example, one I remember is Nabam Rebia case, or SR Bombay case. So these are the famous cases that you should mention in your answer. And then committees like there are committee recommendation of Sarkaria and Punchi Commission on Governor, or you can mention about NCRWC, which has made a lot of recommendations, or second ARC. So that way you can quote what these committees, their reports have mentioned in their directions, and that will add a lot of value to your answer. And then schedule, suppose the question is of Panchayati Raj or urban local bodies, so you can mention Schedule 11, Schedule 12 depending on the question. So these are the keywords for the answer of polity, and they should be pre-prepared. When you are reading Lakshmikant or whatever source you are following, make separate notes for these parts so that you can mug them up and write in your answers. So this was polity. Coming to governance. Governance is more of dynamic plus static, because questions are kind of static, but your answer should be dynamic. It should have contemporary example, contemporary themes that are going around. So for example, question is on e-governance. So you should mention about digital public infrastructure because it is lot in news. The UPI, Beam, and DigiLocker, various platforms that you are using in the recent times. So if a question is of suppose e-governance, you mention about digital public infrastructure, how it is helping. You can mention about COVID and its impact during the COVID times, and how you how that is improving the governance in the country. And then second part is the best practices, how things in different parts of India are getting implemented and being helpful. So suppose you can mention about uh, social audit law of Meghalaya, or maybe Panchayati report cards of Kerala, so that the effectiveness of the laws have increased. You can mention about RTI, or Suchna portal of the Rajasthan, Jan Suchna portal towards right to information. So these are the things that you can keep in mind. And then you can mention about data, how the use of suppose Jam Trinity or Jandan has eradicated some XX lakhs of fake accounts, or has made some X trillion rupees saving. So you can mention about these, or how online ticket booking for IRCTC has saved so many hours of manpower. So these are the kinds of data that you can mention in the questions of governance. Second important thing is ARC report. So second ARC has made a lot of recommendations on NGO, e-governance, citizen charter, social audits, SHG, pressure groups. So you can pick up the reports, recommendations, issues mentioned by them and write in your answers. And citizen charters. So suppose for citizen charter or for e-governance they mention about various models. So there is a Sevottam model. So these are the keywords that you can, if you write in your answer, that will add value to your answer. Sevottam model as mentioned in second ARC report. So this was value addition with respect to governance question. Now coming to IR, one of the most dynamic and interesting topics. So IR is international relations, and usually the questions are based on the international events that have happened in last 3 to 4 months, because it is more current based. At least 2 to 3 questions will be from the last 3 to 4 months and not before that. So it's very easy to open dimensions in IR. So when you are writing main body, suppose it is some kind of question related to bilateral relations or relations between two countries or neighboring countries, you can open dimensions related to economic, geopolitical, geostrategic, connectivity, technology, resources, software, etc. So that just writing one point for each particular keywords, you will be able to generate 8 to 10 points, which is more than enough for even a 15 marker question. So these are the few things. And then you have to use a lot of keywords in IR. For example, rule-based world order, multipolar world, inclusive security architecture, or leadership in the Indian Ocean, Indo-Pacific region, or Sagar doctrine. So security and growth for all in the region. So these are the very cliche or very standard keywords of the IR that you have to practice over a period of time and use in your answers. And then always add the current context. Suppose the question is of BRICS. So you can mention recently 15th BRICS summit was held in South Africa, where our Honorable Prime Minister also attended the event, and maybe some 5 to 7 new countries were added to the BRICS organization, something like that. You can draw maps if the question is of bilateral or multilateral organizations. Like if suppose you have to show India-Nepal relationship, you can draw a map of India and Nepal and show various kind of things that are happening. What you can do is, so you can show things from here, that we have a train project, we have hydroelectric power project, and then this side also Kathmandu Raxol, or Arun 3 hydroelectric projects. You can just make half part here and draw such diagrams. Suppose question is of India and Sri Lanka, you here mark, you tell about the issues of Kachativu Island here, Park Strait, or Colombo Container Port Project CCT, or Jaffna, where some kind of insurgency is there, Tamil Nadu region, where a lot of migrants are there to Sri Lanka. So that way you can write a lot of points using the diagrams in the IR part. And then last part is social justice. So social justice also approximately 50 marks. So in this we have 4 topics: poverty, hunger, education, health. Poverty, education, health, hunger. So these are the social justice part is more or less confined to these 4 topics. So here government steps become very important. What government is doing to say remove poverty, improve health or education or hunger. So you can mention about midday meals, Manrega scheme, or new education policy, NEP. A lot of things, a lot of steps the government is taking. Then mention about the best practices. So you can say, if a question is of education, you can mention about Unnayan Banka of Bihar as a best practice, or if a question is related to health, you can mention about the Chiranjeevi Yojana, Universal Health Insurance Scheme of Rajasthan, which is doing a lot of wonders in those particular states. Then always mention data. Suppose question is of poverty, you mention that approximately 22% population is BPL as per a Tendulkar committee report, or as per Niti Aayog, approximately 15% of population is multidimensionally poor. Or if the question is of say hunger, so you mention about stunting, wasting data, that how much percentage of children or how much percentage of women are anemic in India, approximately 53%. So that way you have to mention a lot of data in your answers. And in conclusion, always try to make SDG linkages. SDG, like when we address poverty, hunger, health, education, what kind of SDGs we are trying to eliminate, or we are trying to achieve the targets of those particular SDG. So that way you can add value in your conclusion also. So this is the overall theme of GS2 paper, wherein you can apply all these strategies to improve your marks, and definitely if you do this, you will get above average marks. One more important thing in GS2 is 2 laws that are mentioned in the GS2 paper. Only this paper has specific laws that are mentioned. First is RPA and second is RTI. RTI is again indirectly mentioned. It is part of both GS4 and GS2 and RPA, right? RPA 1951, which is related to elections. So these 2 laws are very important, especially for polity. So you should always try to make sure you read the laws, make a good short notes of this and revise it multiple times, because UPSC has a habit of asking these 2 laws in every alternate year or so. So be prepared, and you can then easily write your answers.